The Washington Nationals got a big win last night in shutting out the Seattle Mariners. Robert Hassell III hit his first home run, and Papa Wood, he was in the house.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, check out the video version of this podcast over on YouTube. Again, just search up Locked On Nationals. And later on in today's show, we have got a Game 3 preview for you tonight as the Seattle Mariners, they try to win this series. And also, the Washington Nationals do as well. We'll have that preview for you later on in today's show. As the Mariners, they've got a stud going tonight against the Nationals. And in the second segment, let's take a look at this Nationals bullpen turnaround, because this has been a thing. The bullpen is not elite. I'm not trying to say that, but you have seen the improvements. And there have been a couple of guys that have really turned this thing around, and just some changes as of recent that I think we should get into and just have an open, honest conversation about what could make it even better. I've got some ideas. We'll have that discussion later on. But guys, Bobby Barrels went 3 for 5 in last night's contest, hitting his first home run of the season, 416 feet in the top of the 8th inning. He crushed that baseball, and that's what I want to start off here on today's program, because listen, yesterday was a bad day overall. When I was on the podcast, I talked about Ken Rosenthal. We talked about this team being a bottom feeder, and yesterday, the Nationals, they shut up Ken Rosenthal, and they put up 9 runs, and they blanked a very good Seattle Mariners team right now, leading the AL West. The Nationals said, not in here. They shut out the Mariners. Trevor Williams was a beast in yesterday's ball game. And if you were there in Seattle as a Nationals fan, you got what you wanted to see. Because again, right now, kind of where we are with this team, you're looking for the bright spots. You are looking for things that you can really kind of cling on to and say, I'm here to watch this. Robert Hassell III is one of those things right now today. Having his first 3-hit ball game in the major leagues, and also coming on the heels of hitting his first major league home run, which, by the way, he smoked that baseball. 416 feet off the bat. It was a no-doubter in a park that, by the way, it is a pretty hitter-friendly ballpark, but there was no doubt about it. That ball was going to be gone in 30 out of 30 ballparks from where he hit that baseball in right center field. Robert Hassell III has that kind of potential, and as we kind of saw this play out yesterday, it felt as if something clicked for him. Because when you first get called up, the pressure, the just anxiety that comes with trying to live up to being a first-round pick and trying to be that everyone like myself is telling people, this guy is going to be a great player and has the potential to be that. It's never going to click right away for these young prospects. But Robert Hassell, last night was just an appetizer for what maybe you could see down the road here. Someone who can have a 3-hit night. Someone who does have the possibility to hit 400-plus foot home runs for a relatively small frame. He's not James Wood. And really, he's not even C.J. Abrams. He's got a smaller frame, but this guy is elite defensively, as we have seen. And also, he's got a little bit of sneaky power. And last night, we saw that. He scored multiple runs in the game yesterday. Again, provided that huge home run in the 8th inning for his first of his career, and it was a no-doubter. So kudos to Robert Hassell III. That was awesome to see. But also just some other highlight-worthy plays from yesterday's ball game. Yesterday, I went into this game talking about Trevor Williams. I didn't even give you the preview. I didn't even give you the stats because I was being negative. I was saying, well, we all kind of know what's going to happen now. And I did not know. Trevor Williams delivered his best start of this season yesterday, going 6 innings, 3 hits, walked 0 batters, only struck out 2, but he was electric in a time that the Nationals needed some veteran presence in order to step up and win that ball game. And that's what Trevor Williams did yesterday, because delivering a start, again, against a very good Seattle Mariners lineup, like we've talked about it. This is a pretty lethal lineup that the Nationals are going up against. J.P. Crawford at the top. You've got Julio Rodriguez batting the 3-hole. Cal Raleigh, who's one of Major League leaders in the home runs at this point. And while he did get got last night, he did have 1 hit. But the Nationals pitching dominated in this game. The Nats are not the perfect team. But yesterday was the perfect response. For someone like myself and all the other podcast hosts, all the other beat writers, everyone who has just kind of been, dunking on this organization the last few days and really the last few years, yesterday was a good response. That is what I want to see. Because let's face it, the Nationals are 25-30. It's not like they're the Rockies or hell, it's not even like they're the Orioles sitting at 19 wins on the season. They're 5 games below 500. And I've always talked about this. If the Nationals, let's say they had an average bullpen over the first month and a half, 2 months of the season. Let's just say that. They would be around 500 at this point. They would probably be at 500, in fact. Because I can think of 5 games at the top of my head that says, yep, the bullpen blew that one. And they shouldn't have, and the Nationals should have won that game. So this team, I think without a weak bullpen, we're talking about a 500 team at this point. And we are better than what the record indicates so far this year. But still, what a win yesterday. But I do want to talk about James Wood. Guys, Papa James Wood. I'll get into his nickname a little bit later on here, but 15th home run of the season, 435 feet, right off the second deck in right field, in the top of the 5th. What else can you say about this guy anymore? James Wood is a superstar. James Wood is this decade's version of Bryce Harper. He is this decade's version of Juan Soto. This is our superstar that the Nationals have to build around over the next 6 years. And if you cannot put a contending team around this future MVP kind of player, then we are doing this wrong. Because James Wood, as far as power goes, I saw a stat. I believe as far as hitters that have like 15 plus home runs this year, batting over 280 and have 8 plus stolen bases, there's 2 guys on that list. It's the best player that I've ever seen, Shohei Ohtani, and then there's 22-year-old young stud James Wood with his 15th home run of this season. At this point in time, how good can James Wood be? Like, we always talk about this and how it takes forever to have guys click in the majors and how you have to kind of really drag out this process, and it's not just going to happen overnight. But with James Wood, it kind of has. And he's 22 years old today. And with where we are right now, what is his ceiling? Because I think we have to move that goalpost down even further from what we all thought. I think we all thought that he was going to be an MVP caliber kind of player. I don't think anyone expected for him to be on the pace to hit 40 plus home runs in his first full season, but that is what he is doing right now. That is the kind of potential that James Wood has. And if you look at his spray chart of where he hits the baseball, good luck trying to find a trend. Typically, he actually goes the other way more often than not. But still, he still pulls the baseball. I believe only a handful of his home runs have been actually pulled this year. In fact, I know that to be a fact at this point. But he is a special hitter. The power is special. We know that. But also even the hit tool. He is an elite overall hitter, which I think a lot of people did not really expect 2 years ago when James Wood was, he was having a solid season in Double-A at times, but could have been better. And I think not a lot of people were expecting him to be an elite 70 grade hitter the way that he is right now up at the major league level. James Wood is a treat to watch. And by the way, James Wood is a treat to watch in a commercial. He is now the man for Papa John's, and you can get half off pizzas on the day after he hits a home run. I'm not sure if I can give out the promo code. You can do your own research on that. But Papa James Wood. Papa Wood is the name that I've heard thrown around. People are calling him Papa Wood now. I think that's kind of funny. And I think it's honestly a great nickname because, by the way, the commercial is hilarious. If you can't, or if you haven't already, look up James Wood in the Papa John's commercial. The girl in that commercial is hilarious, a 10 out of 10. James Wood is a 10 out of 10 also because he's just getting bossed around by this maybe 11, 12-year-old girl. And she's like, "You're too tall, sit down." Kind of funny. Just a good, lighthearted thing. And James Wood is now the face of Papa John's in the DMV. Not Alex Ovechkin, not Jaden Daniels, not name that other star in the city. Not many, but still, you understand the point. It's James Wood. And man, is this guy fun to watch. Just an absolute star in the making. And he's ours for the next 6+ years, hopefully. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Next, let's talk about kind of like this renaissance with this Nats bullpen so far. They've looked a lot better as of recent. Is it real? Maybe. We'll discuss that after the Nationals, or after I tell you about our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts, and each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And personally, I love the no shells variety because I'm always on the go, whether I'm going into work or work out, and I always want a good snack, and I want a healthy one as well. And if you love just reaching into a bag, grabbing a very high protein nut, Wonderful Pistachios, they've got that. And forget the high protein. Let's talk about the taste. The taste is incredible. It's a nice, salty snack that you can just grab on the go. And also, if you're just at the desk and you like playing with something, and you like cracking into a shell, Wonderful Pistachios, they've got those as well. And that's my second favorite snack behind their favorite no-shell variety. And I think that's my favorite, and they're satisfying. And each shell, it's like a snack meditation. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch, and visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Right now, with where the Nationals are, about a handful of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were all talking about this Nats bullpen seriously being one of the worst of all time at that point. Like, statistically, the Nationals bullpen was the worst bullpen to take the field. They were awful. It was a bad product. It was something that we all saw. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. That's what it felt like. If the Nationals had a 3-run lead in the 7th inning and you saw Lucas Sims come in, or if you saw Colin Poche come in, or even at times if you saw Jorge Lopez come in, you all just kind of sat back there and like, oh God, here we go. And unfortunately, the Nationals, more times than not, would blow the lead and make it way more close than what it should be. Fast forward a few weeks, the Nats bullpen has been pretty strong as of late. But why? It's for these new guys that have come in. This kind of new way that the Nationals have kind of reset this bullpen. And a guy that we have talked about a lot on this show really since he has made his debut, Cole Henry. Cole Henry has been a huge plus for this bullpen, and not even just Cole Henry, by the way. Kyle Finnegan. Finnegan, while again, kind of in a weird spot with the Nationals, he's nearly in his mid-30s at this point. You kind of have to make a decision on his future, whether he's going to be your closer of the future, whether you're going to move on from him. You don't really know with where things are as far as Finnegan goes. But he is having another really good season for the Nationals. And yes, while he is rehabbing from injury and kind of, taking their time with him, Kyle Finnegan is still like holding this thing together. And when you have him come in the ninth inning, more times than not, you feel great about him closing the game up and sealing a victory for the Washington Nationals. Finnegan and Cole Henry, they have been great for this Nats bullpen. And Finnegan, I think we all knew. Like, we knew what to expect with Finnegan. I think the expectations for him are pretty fair. Like, he's got outings, just like any major leaguer, by the way, where he does get hit around. Because he doesn't have the best stuff, and he knows that. He's not the nastiest pitcher like Yohan Duran from the Minnesota Twins. He's not that. But what he is when he's at his best, he is pounding the zone, and he's generating swings and misses and generating soft contact as well. That's something that you will take every single day. And I think that we have seen that as of recent here with him, and that has been really why he has been so good over these last few months for the Nationals. I also look at some of the younger guys starting to turn it around. Jose Ferrer, while it's still a little dicey at times, he is starting to find his command a little bit more. The numbers are starting to come down. The walk numbers and the strikeout numbers are going up a little bit, and his ERA is also coming down. And he's starting to look like the person that we all thought that he would be entering this season. And that's just not what he was to begin this year. Brad Lord coming out of the bullpen. Brad Lord is in this tricky situation where he could be a starter, but he also could be a bullpen piece for the Nats. And really, he's kind of like that middle relief, gonna eat up a couple of innings, and that's the role that he's going to play. And he's been okay in that, by the way. Last night, we saw him go an inning, give up a couple of hits, struck out a couple of batters also. His ERA is at a 4.46 on the year now. He has been a solid solution here for the Nationals. So the bullpen with those guys in it, and Jackson Rutledge, while he just got hammered the other night, he has been good as well. I really liked what I've seen from Jackson Rutledge overall. He's put together some really good innings from the Nationals. But when Cade Cavalli is healthy, what are we going to do in that situation? I think of it this way. Gore, Irvin, Soroka, and I would think Mitchell Parker, they're going to be safe when Cavalli comes. Here's where I think things can change. I think Trevor Williams will be put back in this bullpen, and I think that's going to help this bullpen a lot, by the way. That would be a great plus to this bullpen if you have Trevor Williams back there. Because Trevor Williams, when he got traded to the Mets a handful of years ago, back in 2022, that year, that's kind of the role that he was in, this Brad Lord role, where he comes in and makes a spot start, eats up some innings out of the bullpen, and that's where he's best. Now, Trevor Williams has not had that role really since 2022 because he has been a starter every 5 days for the Nationals since they signed him back in 2022. But with where Williams is now, I think that this is kind of what the future should be for him. And by the way, like with the Nationals, you could make a case to go for the wild card race. I think Trevor Williams helps you in that department. He improves your bullpen. He does. He improves this bullpen. Now, if the Nationals do have that scenario where they have Cade Cavalli come up and be the fifth starter and they have Trevor Williams back in the bullpen, you have to make a roster move. I don't think you DFA anyone. I don't think Jorge Lopez gets DFA'd at this point. It really comes down to this. Do you option Brad Lord or do you option Zach Brixey? This may be a little bit of a hot take, but I would option Brad Lord in that situation only if Davey Martinez and Mike Rizzo and company believe that this guy could be a starter down the road. And if they do believe that, then have him get reps down in AAA Rochester. There's no wrong reasons to have him there. And if you think that this guy could come up and be a starter again, might as well get him some reps down there. Because Brad Lord, solid pitcher for being a 19th round pick. You had no expectations, and last year he flew through the system. They're high on Brad Lord. It's pretty obvious. But if they think he's a starter and they think he could be one, then I would option him down to AAA. But if you like him in this kind of Trevor Williams-esque role where he comes in and makes a spot start, but really primarily comes out of the bullpen and eats up some innings, then you option Zach Brixey. Because Brixey, while he's good, last night he looked really good. Overall, he has had some stinkers for the Nationals, and he is a young arm that I think a lot of things have to click for him in order to really kind of get going in the bigs. But he has also got some potential, and I do think that Brixey could help this team moving forward. But again, it's really all determines on what you make of Brad Lord. If you think this bullpen could be a lot better, ask yourself this: is Brad Lord a bullpen piece or is he a starter? That's really is going to determine what they do with Cavalli and what they do with Trevor Williams moving forward, because Cade Cavalli is close. He's not that far away from being called back up to the majors, and certainly he's going to be a starter at this point in time until we're told otherwise. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And next, let's preview tonight's game. The Washington Nationals taking on those damn Seattle Mariners. We'll discuss that after this. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And tonight, you have got a rubber matchup. You have got Mackenzie Gore on the bump against Emerson Hancock, the 25-year-old former top 10 pick back in 2020. And Hancock, over the last few years, it's been a little bit of a struggle bus for him. He was a legit big-time prospect, similar to Mackenzie Gore back in the day. And Hancock, over the last few years, he just simply has not been able to put up consistent starts. And he has been one of my guys. I love MLB prospects. He was one of those guys where I was fascinated with over the last few years. But last year kind of gave you a good example of kind of what was going on with him. In his 12 starts, he gave up 12 home runs. And this year, in his 8 starts, he's given up 8 home runs. What does that average out to? 1 home run per start. The right-handed pitcher is going to give up a bolt tonight. Is it going to be Papa Wood? Is it going to be Robert Hassell III? Is it going to be Josh Bell, by the way, who had a great, brilliant performance in yesterday's game? We'll see. But with Mackenzie Gore on the bump tonight, you always feel good about that. You feel good about your ace going out there and getting this series win because, let's face it, the Nationals need this. You had your day off on Monday. If you win this game, you go into Arizona with some momentum, winning 2 straight games, winning yet another series. What seems like I think they're 4th over their last 5 series that they have won so far. And the Nationals, they just need some momentum. And as of right now, the Nats are not the perfect team, but they are playing some really good baseball as of late over these last few weeks. The offense, while it has been inconsistent at times, that's always going to happen over the course of a season for a young, unproven team. But when you look at him, Mackenzie Gore on the bump tonight, this is like what you want against a very good pitching prospect as well with Emerson Hancock. This is going to be a fun game to watch tonight. And in my opinion, why not the Nats? I think they win tonight. I think the Nationals win the series. We go into Arizona with a little bit of momentum there. And it's going to be a fun one. So make sure you stay tuned tonight and watch the Nationals beat those Seattle Mariners. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.